We got American House video reaction, and Mum is back with another reacts. 4 ways British and American houses are very different. Have you seen much about American houses?
No.
Not really.
No,
So
not really.
yeah, so it's gonna be first time pretty much. My mum's gonna be checking out American houses and the differences. So yeah, let's get straight into this, see what we got.
Tea drinkers that we are, we love our kettles, don't we?
We do.
But
That's true.
they're not just any kettles. These are ones you plug in and then hit the switch to turn on the plug, because I forgot to mention that our plug sockets also have switches.
Oh yeah, I found out like a lot of Americans do have like kettles now, but a lot of them didn't really have like many electric kettles. Like that's not like really a normal thing.
So what, like one on the cooker?
They have one on like the stove.
Yeah. Well, we used to have them.
Or some of them microwave the water.
Oh, right, okay.
But then yeah, electric I feel like they are getting more electric kettles now, but like it wasn't like that wasn't the normal. Whereas like every household in the UK has an electric kettle. You know what I mean?
Hello, I'm Lawrence, and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to houses, the things we live inside. If you're watching this video, it's quite likely you're either inside a house right now, or you're near one, because otherwise you wouldn't probably have internet access quite as easily. To anyone that might be new to this channel, come on in, get yourself a cup of tea. This isn't a genuine offer.
Come
into
on
my
in.
house. I'm just saying, join the channel. This is good.
Do you know what I've always found crazy about him, right?
He's nice, isn't he?
He is nice. He's been living in America for about 14, 15 years.
All right, and
But
he's still
sound.
learning.
No, he sound.
Oh.
No. So basically, he moved to America. Now he just compares America from the UK. But he sounds so British still.
So British.
Like if I moved to America,
Yeah.
my accent would change instantly, I reckon.
And hello to everybody who's been here a long time. Today we're going to look at several ways in which British and American houses are very, very different.
Yeah, I like
Having
these
lived in the
videos.
United States for over 11 years, I've lived in my fair share of houses here,
11
just as I
years now.
did in Britain. So I think I have a decent grasp of how houses work. Even tiny ones like this one, which is about 400 square feet. I'm joking, this is a professional studio. Don't question me. And so without further ado, let's take a look at 4 ways that British and American houses are very, very different.
Size, 100%. Style.
Neither Britain nor America is devoid of variety when it comes to their housing styles, and that's because, well, with each sort of passing phase of history comes new designs to meet new needs and just new style preferences.
Okay.
And because of this variety, I'm not going to cover every single one of them, because that would keep us all here until next Wednesday, which would be good for my metrics, but not good for your sanity. So let's take a...
Do you know what style I see all the time in American house videos, right? Is like they have a lot of what we call bungalows. So 1-story houses. And that's like just like a regular house to them.
Yeah.
Whereas like bungalows for us is for old people. The elderly.
Yeah.
No, you don't really know anybody below the age of 60 really that lives in a bungalow.
I only really see the ones that I see on telly, like in the movies, the really nice mansions.
Oh, right, yeah, you only see them as American houses.
Yeah.
The big ones.
Yeah.
Take a look at how some of the
Swimming
housing
pools.
styles do
Yeah.
vary
Swimming
from
pools.
country to country.
Yeah.
In Britain, a lot of the distinctive styles are also tied up with the period in which they were built. So you could go all the way back to
Okay.
the Tudor period, and you do find Tudor housing dotted around here and there. In fact, if you go to the city of York,
That's more like
for
the
example, there's
villages.
quite a lot of sort of Tudor buildings
Would they
there.
have
They're
them in
quite
America?
ornate with wood panelling,
Like
and
them
they're the sort of
kind
place
of-
that you might
No.
imagine that Shakespeare lived. But wood is less indicative of British houses than you would see in America, where wood is actually quite a common material for
Oh
building.
yeah, did you know that? So in America homes, they're mostly built by wood.
Why?
So you know ours are brick and stone?
Yeah.
Theirs is like mainly wood.
Why though? Is there a reason for it?
I think I don't actually know exactly why. I think like you gotta remember America is a lot hotter, so maybe it's something to do with
Yeah,
the
but
heat.
isn't that going to be less sturdier when tornado season comes around and stuff?
Well, but it's strong wood. It's
Yeah.
very strong wood. But I don't know, yeah.
Mm.
Houses. In Britain, from about the Georgian period onward, you're going to see quite a lot of brickwork. Georgian period houses absolutely exist. People live in them, but they tend to be these opulent-looking houses that have notable pops of white rectangle, which are just the windows.
I love them houses.
It's very
You love
nice.
them?
Yeah.
They look like
Really?
dolls'
Houses,
houses
yeah.
that you should live in. But then come the Victorian age, we started moving toward these sort of like orangey brick buildings, right? And a lot of them were terraced houses, which is what Americans
Right.
would call row houses. And they just look very industrial, right? You could imagine a chimney chimney sweep going up and getting his face covered in soot. And then we move into the Edwardian period, where houses are sort of similar to those of the Victorian age. They're just lighter colours with more chimney sweeps, if Mary Poppins is anything to go by.
Got loads of
Now,
them.
during World War II, when the Nazis bombed the ever-loving crap out of us, a lot of the houses went boom. And then after World War II, there was a housing boom. And you started to see a build-up of new, more simple houses, kind of like the one I grew up in.
Yeah, right. He was my next door
Yeah.
neighbour.
What, he grew up in a castle, yeah?
Of
That's
course
a
he
castle.
did.
That didn't happen. But I grew up in something more like this.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is like a nice house in the UK, isn't it?
Yeah.
You would say this is
Yeah,
a nice
that's
house.
a nice house.
This is a
area.
nice estate,
Yeah.
nice area.
Yeah.
That's not Lawrence's actual house. Despite
Because like when we do look at like UK houses, I like to like give them an idea of what is a nice area in the UK.
Yeah.
So they kind of get like, because they might see this and be like, this is everybody's living in these.
No,
this is like the
because
bottom.
we've got the council house in areas,
Yeah,
haven't we? That
where
is
they're all
not a
connected.
council.
No,
That's
no, no.
privately
Yeah.
owned.
One of these
housing
houses,
estate.
obviously depending on area, but I think one of these houses, like in our area, would be around like 300, 350. You reckon?
Yeah, about
300,
350.
350,000
Yeah.
for that.
Lawrence's actual house. Despite what fairy tales may suggest, most of us have never lived in a chocolate box house, but those do exist. A chocolate box house is the kind of house you might see in the Cotswolds, right? It's very quaint looking, it's got
Chocolate
thatch
box house.
roofing, and it
Never
looks like
heard
this.
of it.
And if, like
Oh,
me,
it's them. Oh, okay. They're like the
that-
villagers.
It's a thatch roof.
In-
isn't it? It's
in the
like
countryside.
yeah, it's the Viking era,
Yeah,
isn't it?
quite
Kinda.
cool. I wouldn't want to live in one,
Oh,
but like
that's-
they're quite cool.
Oh, I would.
You would?
Oh yeah,
Really?
the character and everything behind it, beautiful.
looks like this. And if like
See, the Americans that like come into my streams, if you guys aren't coming into the streams, by the way, make sure you do that. But they come into my streams and like they always tell me what house they like of the UK because they really like the UK.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
how we love America?
Yeah.
It's like you kind of like what you don't have. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of
So we
course,
love
yeah,
America. They
yeah.
kind of like the UK.
Yeah.
So like they like these kinds of houses because it's like it's got the old fashioned kind of style to it.
Yeah, they're unique and they've got that much character and everything.
Yeah.
It's fantastic houses.
this. And if, like me, you're wondering why it's called a chocolate box house, yet it doesn't look edible, it goes back to the 1950s/60s when chocolate boxes would have on their facade a kind of depiction of a beautiful English countryside. And these
Oh, did
types
they?
of houses would often feature on said box. Now, again, this is by no means an entire repository of British houses. Neither is the following an entire repository of American houses. It's just the more common ones that you will see when you are here. So, Cape Cod houses, you know these types of houses, right? They're the ones with the wood paneling down the side. And I said a moment ago that, you know, America makes good use.
Alright, so now we're at American
America,
homes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You could tell it. You could tell it's American
Yeah.
home because they've got more land.
Yes.
Like you could just see the surrounding area.
You get more for your money, don't you, in America?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I would.
100%, 100%.
Of wood in this country because there's just so much of it. So many wood
Okay, yeah, he's talking about why they use wood then. So you can see that this is obviously wood.
Yeah, yeah.
use of wood in this country because there's just so much of it.
They just have loads.
So many woodlands around the country, and it's a huge country from which to pull that resource. So they do, and it's cheap. But funnily enough, the Cape
Right.
Cod style has its history with English settlers who came here in the 17th century and started building Cape Cod style houses in New England. Now,
Okay.
during the post-World War II period, partly to provide, you know, housing to veterans coming back from war, there was a revival of Cape Cod style housing, and it started to be built not just in New England, but all along the East Coast and in the Midwest, and even out west. Anybody that's seen the Goonies will know that. And it was this style of housing that I first moved into when I moved to the United States. And I've got to say, even despite the Midwest winters, it was really warm. You know, you'd think it would be quite drafty because of all of the
Okay.
gaps in the wood. You could go to specific streets.
See,
or
I would think that like brick is a lot warmer than wood.
Yes.
You'd think, but maybe, yeah, maybe it's just because we live in brick. Maybe wood's just completely fine.
Well,
But it has to be. They're living
well,
in it.
yeah.
neighborhoods or areas of the United States and only find these houses for miles and miles. So I lived in one of those, but my grandparents-in-law lived in what is known as a ranch-style house. And these
Okay.
are sort of really low-down buildings, don't typically have 2 floors to them. And once again, these
Like
houses became
bungalows,
popular
kind of.
after World War II. There was just generally a big sort of boom
Yeah.
after
Say
It-
that, yeah, we've got them kind.
Yeah, but not that big.
No, that's massive. That's huge.
That like I would live in that bungalow.
Yeah.
But like we call them bungalows. But
Is
I
that
would.
just one place?
Yeah, that's just one house.
That's massive. That's
World War II.
huge.
Again, in the United States, in that regard.
And like, is there land as well? Like, this will go all the way around.
So would the inside, the rooms be huge then as well?
Well, yeah. Like, they have
Just
enough space for
everything
like.
is on a bigger scale.
Yeah,
isn't
pretty
it?
much. Like, every single bedroom most bedrooms in America will have like a walk-in closet. You know, like how you see
Yeah.
on the movies, they've always got them.
Yeah.
So
generally a big sort of boom.
They got
after
the
World
room
War
for
II.
it.
Again, in the United States.
they got
in
that.
that
They always have the pantries in the kitchen as well.
And how much do you think something like that would be?
This,
Yeah.
I have no clue. But in America, price depends. Wait, I've lost it. Price depends so much on like the area.
Right.
So like California, New York, you're paying so much, very expensive.
So but that's like us. Like
Yeah,
in
like
London,
London, yeah.
you would pay a lot more.
But like, cause America's so big, the price is like crazy.
Yeah.
But I've actually looked to like in Texas for like money. So like I bought this house. I looked at houses in Texas for like a similar price, and you get so much better for your money.
Oh,
Yeah, the house was so much bigger. You got it's
Yeah.
so
areas
nice.
of the United States and only find these houses for miles and miles. So I lived in one of those, but my grandparents-in-law lived in what is known as a ranch style,
went
which
back
became
too far.
popular after World War II. There was just generally a big sort of boom after World War II, again in the United
Yeah, it's
States
huge.
in that regard. The 20th century, though, did see more and more revivalism of old styles. So you had, mock Tudor, or should I say revival Tudor,
Cool looking
which
house.
more or less replicated the kind of Tudor buildings that you would see in England with some differences. And I've seen those types of buildings in Boston, for example. I've also seen them in Indiana. As well as that, the 20th century saw colonial revivalism, though
They're
most
nice.
people
Wow, that's
don't live in
lovely.
those
Yeah, they
houses.
are nice.
Maybe one day when I get that grand piano, I'll think about it. And so that's an extremely basic and rudimentary breakdown of some of the different styles that you'll see in each country. But there's one big difference between all of the houses in both countries, and it's this.
The size.
Let's face it, it's
Yeah, it's
time to
just
face up
bigger.
to some home truths. Compared to America, Britain is microscopic.
Right.
The United States is absolutely massive and needs to be stopped. And the same is true of each country's average house size. Right, so in the United
Yeah,
States...
to be
houses
fair,
just-
like you're in America, the place is absolutely huge, so you got the space to spread out the houses.
Yeah, we just cram everything.
Yeah, in the UK, like it's so small. Well, yeah, we just have to
And
we
the-
have to cram.
And yeah, because they're building more and more houses. So like, what? Once
But yeah,
we
we're literally running out of room to build houses.
Oh, they'll be taking over.
Like, if you
splitting them in the middle.
I'm
soon.
pretty sure like in the UK now, people are buying like buildings, like business buildings, and turning them
them-
into
yeah,
houses
they are.
because they're running out of like
Yeah,
land
yeah.
to build new houses.
And all the shops are going down and under, aren't they?
Yeah, no,
A lot
they're
of
turning the shops
and
into
they're-
houses.
And they're turning them into
Yeah.
houses.
I'm seeing more of that happening than actually building on new land.
Yeah.
Because there isn't that much land.
No
more.
No.
tend to be way more spacious. And we're not just talking about millionaire houses here. We're talking about your average house. So the average size of an American single-family home is approximately 1,600 square feet. In the UK, we're looking at an average of about 900 square feet.
Damn.
So why?
Alright, we don't really understand square feet, but an average home in the UK is 900 square feet.
Yeah.
Average home in America is 1,600.
See what? They
So
get
pretty much double the size, averagely.
difference? Well, one reason is population
Mad, innit?
density. In Britain, we're all a bit packed together. Actually, that
Do you know in America as well, they literally have drivable lawnmowers. That's how big the gardens are.
That would be so cool.
Yeah, but we don't need it. Imagine me driving lawnmower out
Well,
there.
you don't know, but I'd go. I'd
Your
cut,
garden's not big.
Yeah, I would cut everyone else's lawn. Just go on it.
partially
Great,
accounts for
wouldn't
why
it?
everything is smaller in Britain. Not everything, not the cups. But in America, there's just so much land, and relative to that land, so few people. So,
Right.
make them as large as you want, and they do. They're huge. But also, a large majority of American houses are relatively new, meaning that they were able to benefit from, building methods and materials that other countries like Britain were not. And the post-war expansion of American highways meant that this was enhanced even more. Those materials could be moved around the country more easily, and of course, this ushered in a more grand housing development.
You know what? Maybe the UK would be better building in wood.
Why?
Like maybe it's just like a more up-to-date, modern way to build houses, more efficient, cheaper.
Well, no, it's because they've got the wood. We haven't got the wood. Have we?
Yeah, but like we do brick houses just because like we've always done that
Yeah.
from the olden days.
Yeah. But we have got some wood houses. We do
Have
use
we?
wood. Yeah.
What, like a full-on wood house?
Sheds.
Now, all size aside, try saying that after 10 tepid tequilas, things become subtly different once you're inside the houses of either country.
Right. The gadgets.
Is gadgets the right word? I don't know, I'll have to fire my graphics team. Either way, we're essentially talking about accessories, the things you have in your house that make that house work, even when you're doing the house work. So for example, airflow, right? America's bigger on its
AC.
overhead fans and air conditioning units. We don't usually use those. I mean, we like to punish ourselves, especially in the summer, but we can crack.
Yeah. Americans love their AC units.
Yeah, but they'll need it, won't they?
They do need it because
Yeah,
their weather's crazy.
Yeah.
But, like, us in the summer,
Yeah.
the houses are horrible to live in
Absolutely.
because it traps the air.
Yeah.
It's hotter inside than it is
And
outside.
I understand what he's gonna say, because we suffer all through the summer how
Right.
hot it is,
Yeah.
and then just as the weather's cooling down, we'll actually then go and buy a fan.
A window open and it doesn't.
Wait, you don't buy a fan at the start of summer?
No, because obviously we don't have that much nice weather, so
But-
we might have a week, a 2 week,
Yeah.
3 weeks. So
You're not prepared.
rather than going and buying a fan for
Yeah.
£40, I'm gonna wait because tomorrow it's gonna be raining or it's gonna be
Yeah,
snowing
true.
on Wednesday. You know what I
True,
mean?
yeah.
So I'll
get
wait.
oppressively hot, always. And so we've mostly been fine with this situation. It does mean that insects get in. So daddy longlegs will get in the house and mosquitoes, but it's a small price to pay for not having air conditioning. I actually quite like air conditioning now that I've lived in the US. Speaking of insects, you also don't see...
You know what? I'm gonna see how hot this house gets in the summer, and I might get AC.
I
if
think
it's
this
horrible-
house is gonna get hot.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, then I think I'm gonna, because I've said to them before. Now that I own a home, I can turn it into like kind of like
Yeah.
an American home. You
Yeah,
know, get
you
like the
can.
American
You-
features
you
inside the
can
house.
indeed.
So why not get AC?
Why
Britain,
not?
those insect screens that you put in the windows, hence why they're getting in.
Get
in
insect
America,
screens.
they're virtually in every house, but then again, you know, in Britain, we don't have black widows or
No.
brown recluses.
No, but we've got
or
annoying
the types of
flies.
mosquitoes that make your face go like this.
Yeah.
So I can see why it's justified. I mean, you still get ants, or is that just me? Not sure how they get in. Maybe cracks in the wall, or maybe through the plug sockets. The plug sockets, of course, are different in both countries too. In
yeah.
Britain, you have the three-pronged outlets, and in America, you sometimes have three. But
Yeah, did you notice about American plugs? They don't have the switch.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they don't have a switch. It's just always on. Always on.
Really?
Yeah. What do you feel about it just being always on?
Well,
If we had that when I was a kid, I definitely would electrocute myself.
absolutely, yeah.
occasionally too, and they're smaller in America than they are in Britain. That's one of the few things about which you
Smaller?
can say
I didn't
that.
know they're smaller.
Separate taps, of course, for hot and cold water. Americans combine them all into one. Where's the logic in that? I'm joking. And while we're on the subject of sinks, most British sinks don't have that sort of food waste disposal thing.
I
You
love
press
that.
the button and it does the noise.
I don't even know if we can get that in our homes. I don't know
Yeah,
if that's
of course you
allowed.
will.
Is it?
Sure you will.
But where's it gonna go? Like, we don't have like sewage pipes in our sinks.
We're not going on the food disposal again, are we? It goes out into the garden.
Oh wait, yeah, we've been through this. Yeah, you've already seen this.
Amazing. That was one of the best things I discovered after I didn't discover it. Somebody else came up with the idea and I just used it. But it's amazing. It's just so pleasing to know that all of that gunk gets broken down, and just don't put your hamster in there. I've learned that lesson from someone else. I didn't do it, just read about it on Reddit. Letterboxes. Firstly, Americans don't call them letterboxes, but mailboxes, and typically don't have them on the door, but outside in the
Yeah,
garden.
you know
yard.
Americans
the
do that, right?
garden slash
Yeah.
yard is different. Often smaller in Britain, but very well kept up, depending on the family. And just massive yards here with, you know, mesh fences and things like that, or picket fences. Back inside, a lot of properties in the United States will have
Oh yeah,
walking
that's the thing that like surprised me as well about American homes. Like in their back gardens, their backyards. You know how ours are always fenced off.
Yeah.
You can't see into the other garden. They like a lot of days it's just open.
So you can step into the next door neighbour's
Well, yeah, you
garden.
can see it. You can step into it. Obviously, you don't. But
Yeah.
like,
But that's quite nice though, isn't it?
Oh
Because-
no, I like the privacy.
Yeah, I know you like the privacy,
Yeah,
but
I like-
I think it's because you're used to the privacy.
Yeah, true. It's what you're used to.
You're used to it. But if you was like stepping out and going, morning,
Yeah.
Bill, morning, you know, it's a lot more friendlier.
Yeah, and that's probably
The-
why they are friendlier and
We're
more
sort of
confident.
like that, aren't we?
Yeah.
closets that are built into the actual walls of the house, whereas in Britain you bring your own closet slash
Oh,
wardrobe
yeah.
to put your clothes in, and that takes up more space, I've just realised. So we're shooting ourselves in the foot every step of the way, except when it comes to washing machines and dryers. How cool is this? We combine them both into one giant cube, whereas America has two separate cubes. And tea
Wait,
drinkers
what?
that we are.
I have two separate ones.
Yeah, but you can get. I used to have a washer and a dryer, but that's not a good
Oh,
thing.
really?
Because when one breaks, they're both gone.
Oh, yeah, but you can't use the dryer anyway if the washer breaks.
Well, you can't use that. So I prefer separate.
Okay, right.
So
We
Yeah, separate
They're
is.
not-
love
they're not
our
the best.
kettles, don't we? But they're not just any kettles. These are ones you plug in and then hit the switch. to
Electric
turn on
kettles.
the plug, because I forgot to mention that our plug sockets also have switches. And then, you turn it on. Don't need a stovetop, and it heats up. Just like that. You've got your water, Bob's your uncle, pour it into a mug.
Easy.
There's your cup of tea. In America, you do have the stovetop kettles, and part of me likes that because it does this really pleasing whistling sound at the end. Now, if you were paying attention during that list, you may have noticed that I touched on some of the terminological differences when it comes to housing in either country. And that brings us on to our final entry.
The words.
It wouldn't be Britain and America if they
Oh,
weren't
yeah,
two
so
countries
many-
separated by...
Do you know what? Because I'm watching so many of these,
yeah.
I've actually been using American words a lot.
Like what?
Like, I'm just watching TV with Izzy, and I'll end up saying something American, and Izzy would be like, what did you just say? Like, when I see money on the screen now, sometimes I'll just call it dollars. If I see garden, I'll call it like a yard.
Do you know what though? Taylor Reid started doing a lot of that.
Do you know what?
Because
I think
she
it's gonna.
watches a lot
Yeah, I
of
think it is gonna start
YouTube.
merging even more
Yeah.
because
she
of
does a lot
content
of
and that.
A common language, and the same is true of the housing world. So let's finish with a rapid fire round looking at those very words. So here in Chicago, I live in a flat, except in America they don't call
Yeah, you know what? I actually hear a lot of kids now call sweets candy.
Oh, Taylor Reid always calls it candy.
Yeah, I think
Not
Abe's does
sweets,
as well.
Candy.
Yeah, and I think Izzy's nieces say candy as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of kids are saying candy now.
And,
Call it
and
flat. It's
chips.
Oh, chips for Chris.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, chips.
called an apartment. Something else that you'll find in America, though.
Oh wait,
except
yeah. I don't call it a flat. I call
in
it an
America they
apartment.
don't
I
call
call
it
it a
flat. It's
flat.
called an apartment.
You call it a flat?
Yeah. It's
So
a
you know
flat.
when I lived near London?
It was a flat.
No, it wasn't. It was an apartment.
It was a flat.
Oh
Something
no.
else that you'll find in
Flat
America
sounds
are these
horrible.
condominiums or condos, if you don't fancy saying a word that has condom in it. And we do have those in Britain. They're
What?
they're usually called common hold properties. And
What?
No.
We don't even use that, do
no,
we?
No.
It's a common hold.
I suppose most British people wouldn't go around using that term, whereas you actually hear the term condo quite a lot. It's been suggested to me that
Okay.
I move into a condo, and
I don't even know
it
what a
sounds
condo
good. I mean, when I
is.
first
Sorry,
heard
but
the
it
term,
sounds
I thought
nice.
it sounded like I might be moving.
No, I don't think it is nice.
Condo sounds nice.
No, I think a condo's like. I don't know.
I always picture a condo near the beach or something.
I don't know.
Like
I don't know what a condo
bungalow.
is.
Onto a lakeside
Maybe.
boat or something like that. It is like an apartment, but it's one you would buy. It's real estate. Now, as a child and young adult, I grew up in a house that was known as a semi-detached house. That's when you have a house adjoined to one
Okay.
other house on one side, but not on
Most
the other
UK
side.
homes are.
In the United States, this is known quite simply as a duplex, which is not a wrestling
Duplex.
move. If it is adjoined on both sides with another house, then you are part of a line of houses that are known as terraced houses in Britain. In America, they're known as row houses because
Right.
they're all in a row.
Wait, what is your house class as? Because your house isn't a terrace house,
Townhouse.
townhouse.
Yeah.
Because aren't terrace houses in the UK houses in a row that don't have a garden?
No, attached both sides, isn't it?
Well then, you're in a terrace house, then, right?
No, ours is classed as a townhouse. for
Oh,
some
really?
reason. I don't know. Well, yeah, terraced. I'm not
No
sure.
clue.
Presumably. Then there's council housing in Britain versus the projects in the United States.
Oh
And that's just-
yeah, so the projects, that sounds so cool, like in America.
Right.
But then the council houses in the UK just don't sound cool.
So is that the same then?
Yeah, so the council houses, which 60% of the UK population pretty much lives in, nearly
Yeah.
everyone, and that is the same as the projects in America.
Right.
Pretty much the same thing.
another way of saying public housing. To control the electricity flow in Britain,
By the way, I don't actually, that's not a correct stat. 60% of the population don't live in council houses. But most people that we know live in council houses.
Oh, mine was a council house.
Yeah, most people around here are council houses.
Yeah.
You have the mains power. In America, you have the grid power. And
Yeah,
what if
mains
you're
and
sick
grid.
and tired of the place that you're living in and you just want to relocate somewhere else? In America, you would just simply move. In Britain, you'd move house. And on that note,
Right.
I'm going to move out.
Oh, yeah. When I was telling people I'm moving house,
Yeah.
they was like, what you on about, you moving house? Am I picking up my house and moving house? They just say they move.
Oh, they say they move.
They don't say they're moving homes.
Oh, so you're not moving house?
I'm not moving house. I'm moving.
Yeah, it does sound weird though, doesn't it? I'm moving
No, it's not
house.
because I'm moving house. I'm moving different
I know,
house.
but it does sound weird. So
Yeah, but-
I'm moving house.
Yeah, but if you say
You're
I'm
not gonna move
moving,
your house.
if you say I'm moving, how do they know what I'm moving? I could be moving my Coke can.
No, well that's. Oh, I don't.
You know what I mean? I'm moving homes.
To my outro transition, because this is the end of the video. Let me know in the comments below if
Interesting video though.
I think I had a bit of an understanding that their houses are bigger than ours.
I wish they showed more of like and spoke more about like the, the
I
stereotypical
want
American
to see
house.
more of the houses.
There is videos like that we can watch.
I want to see more of the houses
Yeah,
with
they-
the swimming pools and the
Right.
and the streets.
So
and-
more like visuals.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could definitely could do that at some point. So if you guys want that, make sure you leave a thumbs up, subscribe for more content. We'll definitely do that video. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a thumbs up, subscribe for more content. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.